Hi everyone and welcome to another video from DisplayRepair.com. If you want to drive a car with manual transmission, better known as a stick shift, and you don't know where all the gears are, this video should help. It applies to almost all stick shift cars out there, no matter what the manufacturer is. So stay tuned. DisplayRepair.com. Be sure to visit us at our website DisplayRepair.com, where you can find more useful car and driving tips. I must mention, to avoid any confusion, that this video applies to standard cars with manual transmission and perhaps some pickup trucks. Bigger trucks, semis, also sports cars, high-performance cars and other vehicles that have different manual type transmissions are a whole different story. With them, this is applicable perhaps to some extent, but isn't a good explanation. Before we start, just a brief explanation on what gear shift patterns actually are. Gear shift patterns are a layout where the gears are located on your car. You have to know these patterns in order to shift the gears properly and therefore be able to drive the car. To put it more simply, it's a map and instruction for the gears and in what direction to move the shifter. Every time you encounter a car with manual transmission, better known as a stick shift, there are two major obstacles, at least from what I've seen: operating the clutch and shifting or finding all the gears. This goes double if you don't have much or any experience around stick shifts, or if you drive a car with automatic transmission all the time. In the majority of these cases, driving is almost impossible. Knowing the gear shift patterns or gear shift layout and how to shift them will help you avoid this and give you a big advantage. Instead of losing time and at the end not being able to actually drive the car, you'll have a brief period of adaptation that lasts a couple of minutes and you're good to go. That, combined with knowing how to operate the clutch, will make you a winner for driving a stick shift. First of all, know that gear shift patterns are almost the same for any manual transmission car. To make using the car easier, most manufacturers around the world have adopted a standardized system for shifting manual transmissions. So if you learn the pattern on one car, there's a good probability you'll know it on the next one. The big difference is the number of gears, 4, 5 or 6, and even a bigger difference is where the reverse is. If you don't know how to find the reverse gear on a manual transmission car, we've made a separate video specifically on this topic. Click on the link so you can take a look. The most used and most common gear shift pattern looks like an H letter. The best way to use this information and remember it is every time you get in a car with a stick shift is to imagine an H letter superimposed over the gear shifter. Imagine it sort of hovering over the shifter. If you do this, any confusion about where the gears are should be cleared immediately. The top edges of the H are the gears, and the center of the H is neutral. All the gears start from neutral. So, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth if there is one. This may be somewhat different, especially on transmissions with 6 gears in terms of where the gear is, but the H pattern stays the same. One more confusing part for many drivers is how you actually shift the gears according to the pattern. On the pattern, you push the gear knob right or left and then up and down as if the shifter was on a rail. In real life, the gear knob pivots from one point so it doesn't slide, but sort of bends to one side or the other. Besides the H pattern, you also have an imprinted or engraved pattern on the gear knob. Almost all car manufacturers do this, and it's meant to help the driver find the gears as soon as possible, especially the reverse gear. It's common practice when driving a stick shift to take a glance at this map before driving, just in case something is different. But if you know the H pattern, just take a brief look and you're good to go. The main takeaway from this video is, at least in my opinion, the H pattern. As mentioned, if you know this, you will more or less know the gear shift pattern for every manual transmission car out there. You won't have to worry about the gear shifting ever again. Instead of that, just sit in the driver's seat, take a brief look at the patterns on the gear shifter knob, perhaps work the shifter around a couple of times while the engine is off, and you'll know what you're supposed to do. So that's it for this time. Hope the video helps. Please like and subscribe, it's a huge help for what we're doing. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.